Welcome back, coders! I'm Miss Blair, and I will be leading you through the Coding Camp series. I want to let you know that this series builds upon each lesson. The first lesson, Talk to the Animals, was posted on September 1st. It goes over the basics of Scratch and vocabulary you'll need to know. Feel free to start there and catch up. These videos aren't going anywhere. All right. Like always, we start at scratch.mit.edu and then we click Create. Today's lesson is called Basketball Catch. In the games we have made so far, there were only a couple of sprites. To create really exciting games, you need to have lots of sprites to make things challenging for the player. The best way to create multiple sprites is to clone them. In this game, the cat needs to catch multiple basketballs. Today's key concept is clones. The best way to create multiple sprites that all behave in the same way is to clone them. So step 1 today is going to be to choose our background for our stage. So remember, we go to the stage pane. Down here, we're going to go to the library, and I'm going to choose Basketball 1. It's right here. There's Basketball 2, but since that looks real, I guess, and my cat is a cartoon, I'm going to choose the cartoon one. Whichever background you want is totally fine. Step 2, we need to give our cat sprite some code. So we want our game today to start when the flag is clicked. So like before, we go to Events and we drag over when flag clicked. Now we need to make a variable, and we are going to call this variable score, because in our game we do want to be able to keep score. I'm going to keep it showing on my stage, so I'm going to keep the blue check checked. Now, when the flag is clicked, we want to set our score to 0. Drop down, there's your score. I want to make my cat 60%. So remember, looks, set size to 60%. Remember, you can always do the size down here if you don't want to add this block. Up to you, your choice. Motion. We are going to go to where x equals 0 and y is negative 128. So we want our sprite to be down here at the bottom because we are going to be catching the basketballs as they fall down. Then sensing, there will be a timer later on, so we want to make sure that we reset that timer when the flag is clicked. Then we have a control, repeat until loop. So control down here, click and drag over, repeat until. Going inside here, we have operators, greater than, pops in there. Then we want timer in here. So we go back to sensing, and that is where our timer goes. So we're going to repeat until the timer is greater than 30. And we want to move. So we go to motion. Move goes in here, and we are going to move 5 steps. And we want to change costumes to make it look like we're running. All right, so when the flag is clicked, our score should set to 0. Our size should be smaller. We're going to go to a specific coordinate on our grid on our stage. The timer is reset, and then we're going to move 5 steps and switch costumes until the timer is greater than 30, meaning we are just going to keep on running. All right, so I'm going to start over and then stop it. So this repeat until loop means that our cat, our sprite, is going to just keep on moving, move and move and move and move. So we need to give our cat directions. So we are going to program our left and right arrows to move our cat. We are going to go to Events, when the space key pressed, but we're going to change this to left arrow. And we want to point in direction 90. So we go to motion, point in direction 90. But remember, if we're going to the left, we want it to be negative 90. I want the same code. So I'm going to hover over, right click, duplicate. Up. I'm going to change this left arrow to a right arrow. And we're going to take out that negative, and it's going to be positive 90. So this means that your sprite is going to continually move. So you just have to press the left arrow once to get your sprite to turn to the left. You don't have to continually press the left arrow to get him to move like we have in the past. So let's try our code, test our code. So I'm going to press my left arrow and then my right. And then my left, left, right. Very good, very good. Step 4, we need something to catch. So we need basketballs. We're going to add a sprite basketball from the library. Y'all know how to create your own sprites. You could easily draw a basketball under the costumes tab if you wanted to do what we've done in the past where you paint your own. Feel free to paint your own basketball. For today's lesson, I'm going to choose the one that they've already done for me. And now we're going to clone our basketball. We're going to add script and we're going to clone it and we're going to make our game. So we go to events. We want it to start cloning as soon as the flag is clicked. We want it to be smaller. So we're going to set our size to 40%. We want to show, because once we collect them, we're going to have them hide and disappear. So we have to make sure that they show up. Then we control. We have repeat. And I want it to repeat 5 times. And I want create clone of myself, which is another control. So you should just scroll down. And then we're going to go back to looks. And we're going to hide. So scroll down for hide. So if I was to press the flag right now, you wouldn't see anything because remember when we create clones, it's cloning right on top of our other one. So look, you can't tell. It just got smaller, but you can't tell that I've got all of those clones. I'm going to get my cat back onto the screen. But there we go. So now we need to get our clones moving because that's the fun part of the game. So we're going to move those balls. We go to control. And we're going to choose when I start as a clone. So we need to make a new variable. And we're going to call this one speed. I don't want the speed up here. So remember, I'm going to uncheck it and it just disappears. So now we need to set speed to -10. Oh, that was a joke. We're going to go to operators and we're going to pick random. That's what I thought. All right, so we're going to set speed to, we're going to pick randomly. We want it to each clone to be a different speed. So we're going to pick random -5, so it's dropping down, to -10. That's where that -10 came in. So we want to set our speed to pick random -5 to -10. Then we're going to go to our motion and we're going to go to XY. And inside of our X, there's another pick random. So we go to our operators, pick random, -200 to +200. And our Y is going to be +120. So when they start as a clone, we're going to let them pick randomly their X. So remember the X is the horizontal axis. So they're going to be picking anywhere randomly here, but we want them to all be starting at the same height. So that is why the Y, the height, is a given. Then we are going to repeat until, so that is a control loop. Repeat until. Operators. Here's our greater than again. It goes inside here. And it's going to be timer goes inside here. So remember, it's under sensing, and we drag over our timer. So we're going to repeat until the timer is greater than 30. Our motion, we want to change Y by, so if our balls are falling, that's why we're changing the Y, and we want to change the Y by our speed. Okay, so we're not going to give that a specific number because our speeds are random. So we're going to change Y by speed. And then we have an if-then loop. So control, if-then. So if the balls are touching the edge, so we go to sensing, and we have touching mouse pointer. We're going to pull that over, and we're going to change mouse pointer to edge. So if the basketballs are touching the edge, then we're going to go to motion, and we want to go to XY. But this X is going to be a random position. So operators, pick random. And that is going to be negative 160 to positive 160. And the Y is going to be positive 120. We're going to put another if-then loop underneath this if-then loop. So just like that. So if it's touching the edge, it's going to do this. And if it's touching the sprite, we want it to do something else. So we go back to sensing. We're going to pull over that touching block again. But this time, if it's touching our sprite, then we're going to change our score. So we go to variables. We're going to change our score by 5. Let's count by 5s today. We want our ball to move, so we're going to go to motion, go to X, Y. Again, we want our X to be random, so we're going to pick random. It's going to be negative 160 to positive 160, and the Y is going to be that same 120. And we want it to play a sound. I'm going to keep basketball bounce. Let's see what that sounds like. Sounds. Let's play basketball bounce. I like it. So I'm going to keep basketball bounce. Y'all can pick whatever you want. You can even record your own voice, making whatever silly sound you want. You can add in music like we've done in the past. Today I'm just going to choose basketball bounce, and this should be our game. So the goal, remember, if we did our codes right, the basketballs are going to be falling randomly from a certain point, from a certain height. My cat is going to continuously move, and by pressing the right and left arrows, I'm going to aim for the basketballs, and I'm going to collect as many as I can. And when I collect, they should make sound. Ooh, this player's not very good at our own game. There we go. All right. Good. Y'all get the idea. So go in, you can change the basketball sound. You can make the balls fall faster. You can make your cat move faster. By now you know how you can go in and make this your own. You could draw your own sprite, so you could make your sprite look like you. You could draw your own basketball. That's what I love about Scratch. It's so creative. Hand this video over, or hand your code over to mom, dad, aunt, uncle, whoever. See who can get the highest score tonight. I think that'd be a really fun game. Thank you so much for joining me today for Coding Camp, and don't forget to come back next week. Thanks, guys.